originally today was planning on starting up the Evo 10, getting it running and all that. We decided a while ago that we were gonna powder coat the valve cover red to match the wheels, and I'm kind of just putting that off. So we are gonna be powder coating the valve cover today. We're gonna be doing it lollipop red through prismatic powders. That's where I get all my powders from. So it's a super nice color. It's pretty much like a candy apple red. Very nice color. It's gonna match my wheels 100% perfect because it's the same powder. As soon as that valve cover's on, I may do a few other little things as well, but I just got out of physical therapy and that took a while. So the day's almost over. It's already like 4 o'clock. Yeah, 4:45, and it's gonna take a while to powder coat this valve cover. So yeah, let's head back up north and get some work done. This here is the powder coating stuff. This is chrome, that is the lollipop red, and here is the gun and all that stuff. Every single thing we are using in today's video will be linked down below, as well as Prismatic Powders. Huge shout out to Prismatic for sponsoring this video. They are the ones that supplied the powder. Go check them out. You guys already know I talk about it in every video that I powder coat or Cerakote. Any of that good stuff is supplied by Prismatic Powders. I'll have them linked down below. This here is the color we are going for. This is lollipop red. Same exact color. These wheels belong on the other Evo, but they're just temporarily chilling on here because Bobby stole these wheels off of this car for her car. But before we jump in the shop, guys, hold up. Look at the sunset. That is one thing I'll always miss and always love about Spokane. So here is how the valve cover looks right now. Just stock OEM silver. It's going to be super easy to coat because we don't really have to do any sandblasting. I personally would recommend not sandblasting valve covers. You guys have all heard horror stories of people sandblasting and powder coating their valve cover. Sand still ends up being inside the valve cover. There's little baffles on the underside. If you do not mask it off good enough, it gets stuck in those baffles and then it'll come out when you're driving your car. So I would kind of recommend just not sandblasting it. There's other ways to get coating off if they are coated. Let's go ahead and pull the valve cover off. Before we do, I'm gonna go ahead, bust out the oven. This is just a home oven. I picked it up off Craigslist for like $20 or $30 a few years back. I've been using it for years and it seems to work fine. I'm gonna plug it in right now and get it preheated to 400 degrees. All right, that is preheating. Let's go ahead and pop this valve cover off and clean it up. This was just hot tanked with a bunch of other motor parts, and it should still be pretty clean because we have not put any oil in this motor yet. There's only 2 bolts holding it on right now. Let's pop it off. I'm gonna head over to the sink, get it all cleaned up. Once again, we're not sandblasting it, so this should be a pretty straightforward process. All right, we got the valve cover off and a few rags in place of it. I do think I want to do some sort of like wire tuck. It's not going to be anything crazy. Maybe just this wire that runs to the rear, the cam sensor on the passenger side. Somehow relocate that so it's not going over the valve cover. And maybe something for, well, I guess the spark plug wires are going to be hidden by the carbon spark plug cover we picked up. But yeah, that's for a later project, maybe later. Today, after we get the valve cover powder coated, we can work on that. So I need to pull everything off. This is a PCV valve. We got to pull that off, pull this hose off. All these bolts are going to come out and be replaced with bolts that we aren't going to be using. So these 4 right here for the coils, we still need these ones to be clean, but I'll plug the holes, those 4 holes with a different bolt. Every other hole on this valve cover, I don't think I'll be using. Like these wires right here, or the bolts right here for the wiring. I think I'm just going to powder coat those in. It would look nice to just go get those TIG welded and grinded smooth, but that's kind of a lot of work. and I don't think it's worth it. So yeah, I'll pull all this stuff off and we can get to coating. All right, the valve cover is stripped, ready to be cleaned up. Actually, I should probably pull the seal off the bottom. All right, let's go get this thing cleaned up. Should be pretty easy. I'm just gonna squirt it down with some Dawn dish soap, some degreaser, some more Dawn dish soap. Just run through, make sure there's no oil or grease on it, and that'll be the extent of cleaning. This thing is completely bare aluminum. There's no coating, no paint, no powder coat, nothing on it whatsoever. If there was coating on it, we would have to strip it, and I would use some sort of paint stripper like aircraft remover to get the coating off. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and run this thing through the oven real quick, just to evaporate all the water off of it. And it's also gonna burn off any leftover oil. So let's throw it in the oven. It's at 400 degrees, it's been preheating for a while. And let's throw it in for about 20 minutes. And then we can pull it out, let it cool down for a little bit, mask everything off, and very carefully, and then get to powder coating. While that is in the oven getting preheated, I do have a pretty important question for you guys. Obviously the valve cover is going red, the turbo is now black along with the exhaust manifold. We got all of that on earlier and that looks super nice, super sick. I wish I would have somehow done the cartridge, the center piece right there, just so like the whole turbo would be black, like all black, everything would look sick, but it looks a lot better. My question is, should we leave all the intercooler piping, the wrinkle black how it is, or should we do this red as well? So the intercooler piping, comment down below, and then the strut tower bar as well. Should I do that red or should I leave it black? It'd be easier to leave black, but if you guys think it'll look sick red, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. All right, so while that is in the oven, I'm gonna kind of get the powder coating system set up. It's really easy to do. I'll have this stuff linked down below, like I said earlier. This is the Eastwood powder coat gun. It's pretty cheap, not the most high quality, not the most advanced one in the world. So I'll link something similar down below. This here is masking tape. We'll be using that. This is a hopper. That is what the powder coat goes in. Here's some powder that we don't need. Oh, here's the gun itself. So it's connected to a bunch of wires into that box as well. That's an air pressure regulator with a filter on it and a spoon. So on this powder coating gun, there are 4 wires coming off of it. This right here is going to clamp onto whatever you're powder coating. In this case, it is the valve cover. That right there is the trigger. You're going to hold that down as you're spraying the powder. This is going to plug into the wall using that extension cord, and air is going to connect right here. It goes into the gun. You're going to pull the trigger and powder is going to come out. The hopper that we talked about earlier screws onto the bottom here. Super simple setup. Don't overcomplicate it. In my opinion, powder coating is quite a bit more simple than paint, because paint you have to worry about runs and drips and all that stuff. Powder coating, you don't really have to worry about that. The only thing you have to really worry about is getting it on too thick or too thin, but it's not really going to run or drip if you put it on too thick. And we all know that powder coating is a million times stronger than paint. All right, we got this stuff over here set up. Now let's head over to the powder and let me kind of explain what is going on here. We're gonna powder coat the valve cover chrome first. It's gonna be a really bright chrome, and this is the red. If you didn't apply the chrome first, it would give off like a really, probably not that good looking, I'm not gonna say nasty red because I don't know. I'm just gonna say it's not gonna be very good looking red if you didn't use the chrome base. So we're gonna coat the valve cover chrome. We're gonna then throw it in the oven for 12 minutes at 400 degrees. We're gonna pull it out, let it cool down, and then spray the red over the chrome. Now, being a transparent color, you do want this to be a pretty even coat all around. You don't want super thick areas, super thin areas of the red. So try to be pretty even with it. You don't need to be too picky, but yeah. To start, let's throw the chrome into the hopper, screw the hopper onto the gun, and then we can pull the valve cover out of the oven and get to masking. All right, the valve cover's been in here for maybe like 18 minutes. I'm gonna pull it out and mask everything off. Oh yeah, it's pretty freaking warm. I need a glove. Actually, I'll just use my sweater as a glove. There we go. All right, I'm gonna let that cool down. So we're only masking off a few things on this valve cover. The PCV threads right here where the oil cap screws on, this here, we're gonna mask off. And then of course the bottom as well, where it bolts onto the motor. The whole gasket surface, we're gonna mask off with this tape. For the threads, I'm just gonna come over here. There's a bunch of random bolts. I'll just pick a few of these that I'll probably never use. I think that's from when I did the Evo 8 valve cover and that super nice Illusion Blueberry. All right, we got her all masked off. I am gonna go ahead and spray it off with some compressed air just in case any of this towel is stuck to it. And then we can move on to powder coating. It is still a little bit warm. It can be a little bit warm. You don't want the powder to just flow out immediately, meaning kind of like fluidize onto the valve cover the second you spray it on. That'd mean it's a little bit too hot. So let's go ahead and slap down this first coat of chrome. I'm gonna start with all the hard to get areas on this cover. I'll be everything in here and then I'll kind of go around the edge, do the top, and then slap it in. Like always, please wear a mask. Powder coating isn't like as dangerous as Cerakote or paint or any of that stuff from what I know, but still I would highly recommend not breathing it in if you don't have to. All right, so here it is coated with the super chrome. It looks great right now because nothing flowed out, just like how we wanted it. So we're gonna go ahead and throw it in the oven. We got full coverage. Let's toss it in the oven and it's gonna go 400 degrees for 12 minutes. As soon as the cover itself reaches 400 degrees. So like I said, we're not gonna start the timer for 12 minutes right now. We're gonna start it as soon as the valve cover itself reaches the temperature of 400 degrees, and we're gonna be checking that with this thermometer, infrared thermometer, provided it works this time around. Last time we were having a little bit of troubles with it. So right now we're up to 178 right now, 179. So we're gonna wait a minute. All right, so right now we are at, what are we at, like 380? I'm gonna call that a day. Let's start the timer for 12 minutes, but check out that chrome, guys. Even if I just left it like that, I think it'd look pretty sick. All right, 12 minutes is up. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out, set it over there, let it cool down. And in the meantime, we can swap out the chrome powder in the hopper for the red. Look how much it changed though when we put it in the oven. Before it was that kind of weird looking gray, and now it is just the absolute gorgeous chrome. I am noticing some pitting, which is in the valve cover itself. You guys see that? I should have Scotch-Brited it. I have one of those wheels from Cameron, my brother, Prime MX wheel. I should have smoothed all that out on the top. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I can't really go back now. We'd have to strip all of the powder coat off to make any changes. Let's hope that doesn't show through too much with the red. All right, so the red is gonna go in for 10 minutes at 400 degrees as soon as it reaches the temperature. So I put it in there, it's been in there for about 2 minutes and it's already starting to flow out. It'll change quite a bit more, but even right there, that's a pretty sick color. As we're waiting for that valve cover, we might as well bang out a few other little things on the car. So I did pick up an oil filter. We can throw that on. We can finish up the turbo kit. All we have left is the downpipe and oil feed line, I believe. Yeah, downpipe, oil feed line. Get those two things on. This is the filter of choice today, Napa Gold 7092. The one thing I am worried about with this downpipe is scratching it as I'm putting it on. So it sounds kind of weird to say, like I don't want to scratch my downpipe, but she is so beautiful with the Cerakote on it that I don't want to scratch it at all. We kind of just jammed the downpipe on and we did scuff it up a little bit. Nothing crazy because that coating is so freaking strong, but damn, that looks good black. This valve cover's all finished up. Holy shit. I forget how crazy that red is. Let's pull it out, let it cool down, and it's gonna change color even more once it's cooling down. This turned out absolutely amazing. All that little pitting kind of filled in with the red, so you can't really see it. I'll never notice it when it's on the car. This looks so damn good. This red is absolutely amazing. It's my favorite red they make. It's called, what was it called? Lollipop Red. Definitely my favorite red ever. Let's go ahead and throw this valve cover back together and get it on the car. All right, the valve cover's on with all the coils. I did rearrange some wiring. I don't want any wiring touching the valve cover whatsoever. So this wire is gonna run back here for the rear cam sensor on the passenger side. And I have to extend that wire just a little bit. And another thing is we have this carbon fiber spark plug cover, but I completely forgot about it. So these 4 holes, this one, that one, that one, and that one, they should have been plugged off and they're not plugged. So I may have to run a tap through those real quick. But damn, let's just take a step back and appreciate that red. I cannot wait to get the wheels back on here, pop open the hood, and actually be proud of this engine bay now. I may end up pulling the intake manifold and doing that black as well. But as of right now, I don't think it looks too bad. That spark plug cover really changed how this thing looks. It looks so nice. All those coils in the wiring covered. Damn, guys, I am so freaking pumped on this. So I know I said yesterday that we were 100% for surely going to get this Evo 10 running today, or at least turn it over. But guys, it's actually Halloween today, and I kind of forgot about it yesterday. Bobby is really wanting me to go hang out with her, and it's already 8:30. With that being said, we're not going to be starting up the Evo 10 today. At the same time, I wasn't really planning on powder coating the valve cover. If I didn't do that, this thing would have turned over and most likely ran today. But it's all good, guys. We'll get this thing running tomorrow. All we have left to do, upper intercooler pipe, lower intercooler pipe, intake, and oil. That is literally it. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow to get this thing running.